So we're now a week into the Young Philly trial, and I'm not sure anybody expected to see or hear what we have so far. We're going to get into it, but he actually took the stand earlier today to testify on his own behalf. I think to really get into it, though, you have to establish the allegations, which he has now pled not guilty to. They've been expressed in the courtroom in a lot more detail.
Young Philly, how are you feeling ahead of the trial? UK rapper and YouTuber Andreas Felipe Valencia Barrientos, stage name Young Philly, is on trial accused of raping a young fan after a show at a Hillary's nightclub. The woman at the centre of the case is 20 years old. We can't legally identify her.
So she would have been like 19 at the time, and it is now clear as well that she was a fan of Philly. She was there with the express purpose of meeting Philly, which the trial has now made clear.
She told the jury Young Philly was her idol and that he plied her with free drinks after the show at Bar One in September 2024. The woman testified he told her, "You're coming home with me," before allegedly putting his hands down her pants and grabbing her breast.
And there's going to be rebuttals for everything, which is the nature of a trial like this, but as it goes on, the story does, of course, get worse and worse.
She told the jury her phone was taken away from her, alleging Young Philly bit her neck hard. The woman told him ow and to be gentle. He allegedly told her to stop talking before biting down on her neck again, then her breast, causing an open bite wound.
And these wounds have been documented, as you're going to see. The news coming out of the courtroom also said that she had to go to hospital to get a tetanus shot for these bites. And all that being said, there were even more allegations when she went on the stand.
Prosecutors say the 30-year-old restricted the woman's breathing and slapped her multiple times, allegedly telling her to say derogatory terms like, "I am Philly's dirty and fat pig."
And again, as you're going to see, all of this was thoroughly examined, questioned. With the injuries, of course, there's evidence, but with stuff like this, it is a he said, she said. This, of course, though, is the basis of the trial. She laid out her story in totality, all the way to the end. And after that, it was, of course, passed over to the defence to argue and question their side.
The woman was brought to tears on the witness stand today. She told the jury she was crying from the pain during the assault too, but says that didn't stop Young Philly, who continued violating her. When it was over, the woman says Young Philly ordered room service, told her she couldn't have any, and to leave. The woman reported it to police the next day.
And that is the basis of it. We're going to get on to all the questioning, the evidence. I think it is probably first important, though, to talk about him today, taking a stand. He didn't need to do this. This was voluntary, but he did it all the same.
The vibes were good. That's what 30-year-old rapper and YouTuber Young Philly has told the courtroom here at Perth District Court. The court heard the pair met in the VIP area at Bar One nightclub in Joondalup. Today, he told the court in a loud and confident voice that he fancied her, asking her, "Do you want to come home with me?" To which she said yes.
Now, this is all already established, but he did address a major detail from her testimony. Of course, her phone was taken by security, and he did respond to that pretty explicitly.
Now, also focused in court today, he also told the court that her phone was taken off her by security to ensure his privacy.
He specifically said it is standard practice for somebody in the limelight to protect privacy. And given his track record, especially in the UK, like people will know, he's had a lot of these things leak out over time, so you can at least understand it or believe it in principle. Everything he said, though, was cross-examined, and it kept going.
During cross-examination, he said he gave the complainant what he called love bites to her neck and chest in the heat of the moment. Said he took her phone not in an intention to isolate her, but again for his privacy.
But that is kind of the base layer. The testimonies of both of them are now fully understood by the jury. There are recordings of these happening from like the window of the door of the courtroom. I don't think I can show those. I don't think anybody technically can. There's artistic impressions, which, we'll move on. This trial, though, is obviously going to be decided by the evidence and the cross-examinations. They are still actively ongoing, but from what we've seen so far, there are some details here that I don't think anybody expected.
Young Philly's lawyer told the woman that she gave evidence on Monday that Philly put his hands down her pants and she pulled them out and told him, "I'm not like that," before he touched her breast and she told him no. But Young Philly's lawyer said that's not what happened at all, is it? And she replied saying yes it is, whilst crying. But in a video played to the jury, the woman can be seen recording herself inside the VIP area saying, "He touched me, not in a bad way, in a good way."
And of course, she never alleged that she went unwillingly. The defence do, though, only need to prove that there is doubt that this happened. The burden is on the prosecution, so they're going to tell stories like this at any point they can, because ultimately they just need to convince the jury. And with that in mind, they did continue to go down this path and continue to kind of paint this story.
So young Philly's lawyer suggested to the woman that Philly did not touch her in an inappropriate way before telling her that in the video she went on to say, "I love Philly," and that he was her future husband. In another video played to the jury, the woman can be heard saying, "I'm going to marry him." She said, "At that time he was my idol, and at that time I was naive."
So it's clear what route the defense are going down. You got to think from the perspective of the jury. If you're going to see this much footage of her being a fan, is this going to change your mind about what happened later on? You tell me. All of this is happening in a completely different context to what did eventually allegedly happen. But the details on this front did continue to come through.
"So who's your favorite celebrity?" says the defense lawyer. She says yes. He replied, "You saw yourself as Victoria Beckham?" She says yes. The jury then saw another video, CCTV footage, guys, of the woman leaving Bar One and putting a thumbs up or down, communicating with young Philly, who was in the car. "I was intimidated. I was with 7 guys. I didn't want to be rude and interrupt," says the complainant.
And once again, whatever happened before is largely irrelevant to what eventually did allegedly happen. But they are trying to plant reasonable doubt in the minds of the jury. Though with that said, during this cross-examination, they did eventually get on to after. Philly's lawyer did ask some pretty direct questions about what happened then.
The defense lawyer continues, "So after being slapped, breathing impeded, bitten, penetrated, you asked young Philly for chips to go?" She responds, "Yes." He responds, the defense lawyer, "You seriously asked for chips?" She responds, "Yes, I stupidly asked." Another video was shown to the jury of the woman smiling in the hotel room before she leaves. "I wanted to be seen as calm. I had a high-pitched voice to not make things worse."
And the nature of a trial like this, especially when it's kind of filtering out in the news every day, whatever it was that came out last is obviously going to sway what people think. It's been a back and forth, and the next day it again swung back the other way, because this was when they were able to present evidence of the injuries.
Dr. Marcel told the court the woman had multiple arch-shaped bruises and abrasions on her neck and face that were consistent with human bite marks. And today the courtroom was shown 21 photographs of the alleged victim's injuries. A series of close-up photos of the 20-year-old's face, neck, and breast were all shown to the jury, which depicted multiple large bruises and swelling.
And obviously when visceral evidence is presented, like is being described now, at least in the eyes of the jury, it does feel like that is going to hold more weight. That being said, though, there were some admissions made by the expert that they did bring up onto the stand to talk about his injuries.
Under cross-examination, Dr. Marcel also confirmed that he was asked by police to identify the person who inflicted the bite marks, but he was unable to.
It's at this point again that it did swing straight back. The defense again went on the front foot, and there are a couple of details here which do seem pretty consequential. Because again, I do have to remind you, or remind myself really, I've only got to plant a seed of reasonable doubt, and it does feel like stories like this might do that for the jury.
Then the cousin took to the stand because it was mentioned 2 days ago that the alleged victim went to a festival 10 hours after the event. The defense is building an argument by clarifying how much time they spent in the mosh pit and how they are appearing to enjoy themselves. The cousin had played down the 3 hours they were there by saying it was good, but not that good because of what had happened earlier.
So it does now feel that it's all out there, and it is now just going to be deliberated on. Of course, everything the defense is saying is circumstantial. The photos of the injuries are a different story, like it's objective evidence. But the defense aren't even trying to argue that it didn't happen. Of course, the crux of this trial is how it happened. Are the defense going to be swayed by everything that Philly's team have presented? I couldn't tell you. But listen, if we're being objective, this isn't the trial that people initially thought it was. Now, Whiplash alone has definitely convinced a lot of people that he is innocent.
People, I'm just going to get straight into this. I'm going to stand on everything that I've said regarding young Philly. I believe that he's been set up, and it's like, oh, well, hold on. Well, this is not true. This is an inconsistency.
For me, I'm not going to pretend like I have any idea. And even as I speak now, more and more details are coming out. His private security guard did take the stand, and I don't know that any of this is going to hold any weight at all. Protecting him is in his job title, but with that said, he told the court that the woman was smiling and that he didn't see any injuries. And that seems to be it. The trial is looking like it's going to wrap up tomorrow. Of course, the jury then will go away and deliberate. But it is fair to say that it's turned into a bit of a spectacle.
And keep in mind, this is all before a courtroom that is close to capacity. There's family and friends, as well as a number of fans of Mr. Barrientos, mostly men in their young 20s, with a second courtroom established to accommodate the people here.
So yeah, with a video like this, it does feel like you can't really do much else but repeat the facts. Let me know what you think. We're going to see what happens very, very soon. Until then, though, just be grateful the Chunks didn't take the stand.
In your honor, I'm sorry.